Hi there, I'm Dylan, but you might know me as Nikki's brother. If you're new here, together with my sister, I bought this abandoned farmhouse behind me in Piemonte in the hills of northern Italy. And we plan on renovating it into something beautiful again, grow our own food and start to live more simply and more slowly. We document our renovation project on my sister's YouTube channel, which will be linked below. On this channel, however, I'm taking you along our journey of growing our own food and enjoying it with a glass of wine. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and let's dive right into it. Both are getting our soil ready. I've got a very loose soil mixture. I don't have any seed starting soil specifically. So I just mixed 1 part of sand with 2 parts of general potting soil. So it's a bit more loose and a bit less nutritious. So the seeds will have an easier time starting up. I've got these little seed trays and I'm gonna fill them and I'm gonna start sowing. So it sort of looks like this. I will say though that this is technically my first time doing this. I have grown some things from seed before, but not that much. So I'm fully a beginner. And it's February now, so I'm starting with some of the tomatoes and the bell peppers and holding off on things like pumpkins and onions and a lot of the other things I'm gonna be growing. I've got a few seed packets with lots of different things from lots of different places. Got some herbs, got some spinach, some wild flowers that we're gonna be growing, a mix of all different types of pumpkins and squash with pretty much every variety you can think of. And there it is. Lots of vegetables, everything from broccoli to zucchini, courgette, peppers, which we're not going to be growing because it's not that suited to our climate and we're not really a big fan as well. But eggplant, broccoli, zucchini, like I said. For now we're going to be focusing on the tomatoes and a few other varieties. This set also contains lights that fit right on here, so they have enough light to grow, which is of course a problem if you are starting seeds at the beginning of the season. Because they need a lot of light, otherwise the plants become very laggy and not that strong. So we're going to be watching that. I haven't used this set before, so I'm not entirely sure how it's going to perform. But there's only one way to find out, I guess. So these are the ones I'm going to be sowing today. I have 6 of these little planting kits. So I've chosen 6 varieties to start growing. Nikki also got me these little identifying sticks, I suppose. I don't know what you call them. However, there's a lot of varieties that I don't actually have. For the ones that I do have, I'm going to be using them. And for the other ones, I'm just going to use the backside and write on it, I suppose. So that's the plan. To start off, I have the beefsteak tomato. It's the Noir de Crimée, which is a French variety by the sound of it. The only things I have been growing from seed before are basil, parsley, that sort of stuff, only herbs. So this is going to be the first time experiencing, oh, they're a package within a package, always lovely. First time growing some vegetables. One thing that makes it challenging is that I won't be here for quite a chunk of time this spring. So I'm here to start the seeds, and then I'll have my sister, who most of you will know, look after them. So, oh, already planting 2 at once. It's a great start. I'm for now putting 1 seed in each little section, which I think is the way it's designed. Also, if I were to plant more and select the best ones, I have to do that anyway, because the amount of tomatoes we're going to be growing is probably not as much as I'm going to be sowing right now, but I'm guessing not all of them will make it. So that's what I'm counting on, basically. I'm going to be saving the leftover seeds for possibly a few weeks down the line if I see these ones aren't doing as well as I'd hoped, or not, it isn't enough of them, or next year. I know that when you leave seeds for longer, eventually the amount of them that will start growing will diminish over time, over years I suppose. But that's okay. I'm not going to be growing anything I'm not going to be eating or able to give away to others this season, because I think that's just a waste. I am pushing them down a little bit, so they're deeper down in the soil, but what I'm trying to avoid is compacting the soil too much, because I don't think that's a very nice growing environment for them. So I'm trying to balance loose soil mixture with seeds that are lower down. I should have probably dug a hole with my finger before, and that's what I'm gonna be doing for the next ones. So there you have it, the first tray planted. Let's not forget to put in what it is. Beefsteak. I think that's obvious enough. So I'm covering them loosely so that they're at least covered but not compacted. Behind me here you can see the first raised garden bed we've built. 1 of 4 hopefully for this season, if all goes well. And behind me there you see the first place we're making our compost. So the first composting station, I suppose, but I'll show you. Here we've started with a layer of cardboard just on top of the material that was already there, and then a thin layer, like 3 centimeters, of our own wood chips with leaves as well. I'm gonna follow this up with a layer of worm castings, just a thin layer, and then a mix of potting soil and worm castings until our own compost is ready. So it's basically a mix of hugel method, where you use natural materials to build up the soil from underneath by filling up the bed with, natural material such as this, while also using the no-dig method. I think this is just the most practical way of doing it, as well as creating healthy soil to grow in. And then down here is where we're starting our compost. It's built in much the same way, except here we don't have a layer of cardboard underneath. I started with wood chips again, and then have mixed sort of a layer of forest leaves, which you can still see some here. These are just from the forest floor, rich in fungi, to start up the fungi culture. And also there's some vegetable cuttings from the kitchen, some coffee grounds from the kitchen, some very old hay for sort of light green element, as well as some fresh leaves. So it's a nice mixture, and we're hoping it will start composting quickly. So it's a very nice sunny spot here as well. Just behind me there is where the sun goes down, and the view of the valley is where the sun comes up. So this is the most flat part of the land, on the highest point of the land as well, so it gets the most sun throughout the day, especially when we cut more of the trees that are in the way of the sun, especially the morning sun. Behind me the big pine is going to go, as well as some of the old dead fruit trees here as well. So it's going to be a nice sunny spot, warm enough for the compost. This is a bit more in the shade because it's lower down, and the humidity is higher here. Especially in summer, it really dries out here. And then one level higher is where the hopefully 4 garden beds are gonna be. The plan is to make this whole area, all 3 terraces, because it's 1, 2 and 3, to make all of this back area here sort of into permaculture based, I wouldn't want to call it a food forest, but to combine aesthetics with growing. So raised garden beds for some of the vegetables. We're also going to be growing pumpkins and potatoes, and I don't think I'm going to be growing those into the garden beds, but just loosely around the soil. In a few places where I'm going to be making the soil quite a bit richer than the other plants require. So just in a big heap, basically, with compost is where I'm going to be growing the pumpkins and the squash and all those. And I would like some fruit trees as well, apple at some point. I love apples. And we're also looking into growing olives, a few olive trees, not just because of their ornamental value, but also to make our own olive oil. So we're now looking into species that are cold tolerant, because it does freeze here in the winter. So Lecchino is some of the most grown varieties here, but it's mostly very frost resistant. So that's what we're looking into right now.